All right, Martin, this is super important, right? We're going to go through fall maintenance checklist. Every homeowner should know what to do this fall, and we'll kind of give you that checklist, right? Okay, so first, right, we're headed into the fall right now. So what are some things on the exterior and the roof people should be looking for to make sure they're good for the wintertime? What would you say?
The most important part is to get water away from home. And the best way to do that, make sure the gutters are clean, make sure the downspouts are intact, and make sure they are pushed away from the house.
Yep.
You understand how bad water can be accumulated around the house. It affects the foundation, it affects your sump pump working extra hard, and all that will usually add into cracking into the foundation, water leaking into the basement.
Yeah, because the ground's wet.
That's right.
So if we can just get the water away from property, we'll be in better shape. All right, what about on the roof? What would you say some people should do?
So the main thing on the roof, you just got to make sure check the gutters all the time. I mean, check the shingles all the time. Make sure there's no cracks in there. A lot of times, if you look from down there, you'll see some nails sticking out. Make sure those are sealed in there, and no cracks in the shingles.
Yeah, the only thing I'd add on that is also make sure your vents are clear. Right? Who knows? Bird got in there. Who knows what's going on, right? So just check it, bats, all kinds of stuff. Just make sure that's clear. And how about around the siding? What should people look at on the siding?
A lot of times, if you don't have brick, for example, if it's a brick, you gotta check between the bricks. There's a lot of times cracks. There's a lot of times tuck pointing in there. If it's vinyl, make sure right in between. There's a lot of times birds can get in there and build a nest, and that can affect a lot of the insulation of the house.
Yeah, because we're moving into kind of wet season, right? So, you might have had through the summer or whatever get built up. You might need to power wash or check, some caulking, which we're going to get into. So that moves us directly into kind of weatherproofing the house. What are some things people should check for? I kind of touched on caulking, right?
Yep.
So, because what the last thing you want, actually, it's funny, Martin, on my house, I've got this brick patio, right? And there's caulk. Well, I didn't caulk last season. A bunch of my water got behind it and broke a bunch of my bricks, right? Now it's an expensive fix when I could have just spent, an hour and caulked it, right? So that's one example. You don't want that to happen on your doors. You don't want that to happen on your windows. If you got a brick patio, you don't want that to happen on the bricks, right?
Absolutely. So, I actually have that on my driveway. Get into the garage, winter season, you'll see the driveway stick up about an inch or two.
Yeah.
And you'll feel that. If it's not sealed properly, water can get in there and ruin it. Can cause cracking into the driveway. But as far as the insulating the property, make sure it's all insulated right. You save a lot on your heat, save a lot on your energy. Also make sure all the windows are sealed and caulked on the inside and outside. Yeah. That will help a lot.
The only thing I would add on that is, the weatherproofing around your doors, right? So if you see sunlight, you're going to have wind coming
Absolutely.
through. That's going to start running up your bill. Right? And then just check the attic hatch, right? Just make sure that's still sealed, nothing got disturbed. That way you're not losing a bunch of heat up into your attic, okay? Now, that's a perfect transition to heat, air, and safety. So, I've had a experience in my life where someone I know had a furnace catch on fire, right? First time in the season, they had a lot of animals, right? So the hair gets in there. So what are some things we can do to prevent that type of hazard from happening, the house actually burned down? What are some things we can do to prevent that?
The simple thing is check the filter.
Yeah.
You don't believe how important it is to check the filter, and it prevents from any kind of hazardous stuff that can happen to the furnace. Plus air quality, you get the best air quality in there. Check the filter, make sure the furnace is tuned at all times, especially before winter starts. You don't want it to stop on you during the winter. Make sure your AC a lot of people cover it. Very good, very helpful. Just make sure you remove the cover before summer starts. You don't want to turn it on when it's covered.
Yeah. Now all I would add to that too is I always forget to do this, but your ceiling fans, depending on what season you're in, one brings cold up, the other pushes heat down, right? Switch it to pushing heat down.
That's right.
You won't need to use, right? What do fans do? Move air. So it pushes the heat from the high to the low. So you got to switch it so it spins the other way.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So now we're into water and plumbing, right? And a lot of people don't really understand that your plumbing, and we talked about checking kind of the vents earlier. Your plumbing, like your toilet has a vent, right? That's part of the way don't ask me how, it's part of the way the whole thing goes. So you want to make sure that's good to go. If you got sprinklers, you're gonna want to blow those out, right?
If you have any downspouts outside, make sure the hose are disconnected, turned off on the inside. You don't want those to freeze on you. I actually had one this last summer that apparently I forgot to turn it off.
Yeah.
It froze on me and there was water leak on the inside, had to get that repaired.
Yeah,
but that's very important to do that.
And this, I love that it says this. I've never actually done it and probably should do it, but flush your water heater. You ever flush your water heater?
I have not.
I have not,
No.
but it probably makes sense to do it, right? Especially if you're on hard water like we are. Flush your water heater, make sure it's at the right temperature. That's probably a great maintenance item. Okay, now we've got the inside. Again, this is another fire risk item, right? Someone's want to clean the dryer vents. What are some other things that you want to do?
Just make sure the hood vent is decreased. Make sure the
I gotta do that one too. I gotta get better at that.
You know what's the most important one? Behind the fridge.
Okay.
You pull the fridge out,
Yeah.
you won't believe how much stuff is in there, between toys, between dirt, dust, all collected in there. Make sure all your GFI plugs are tested. Those are very hazardous because they're always around water or where water areas are.
Yeah.
That's very good to check on those.
Okay, now we're into lighting, right? Because now we're moving into, we were joking that winter is coming on a video with Keith and I. So now lighting, right? Because we've got a lot more dark hours now.
That's right.
Right, so you're gonna wanna check your bulbs, make sure all your bulbs are good, make sure all your timers are set correctly, trim the trees back to make sure they're not, if we've had ice storms here in Michigan occasionally, make sure none of these limbs are gonna fall and take out your power, and then then now your whole house plumbing's freezing, all these problems, that sort of thing. And mulch, compost, your normal fall kind of cleaning. So if you have any other questions on what to do to get ready your home for fall, go ahead and reach out. And if you love content like this with great agents like Martin, go ahead and like and subscribe. We appreciate it. Thanks.
Great, thanks.